Good morning, everyone. My name is Justin. I'm one of the admissions counselors here at CEA Study Abroad. And if you've been following our social media for the past few days, we've been dropping some hints to a pretty big announcement that we have here. And CEA is not new to this realm per se, but we've quite expanded one of our programs, and we have a super special guest with us here today. And she's going to introduce herself and let you know a little bit about what this big announcement might be.
So I'm Cynthia Engel. I'm the manager of Internships Abroad, which probably helps reveal what this new opportunity is. And we've expanded our internships across 8 locations throughout Europe for both semester and summer programs. And we're pretty excited about the new opportunities that are available for the students.
Very exciting. So when do these new internships start?
So they'll launch this summer. We have several available for the spring, but the real launch is this summer, where we'll have 8 locations doing 8-week intensive internships. So it's something that you could do and do a little bit of traveling after you've finished your internship program, and then you've got semester programs as well.
And when you say an 8-week intensive internship, what do you mean by that word intensive?
So students would be working about 20 hours a week, and they're taking a course. One of the best practices in internship programs is that you don't just do the internship, but there's a class that goes with it so that you can actually process what you're doing over the course of your internship, get some coaching, talk to your peers, see what's happening at their internship sites. So combined, you're spending a good 30 hours a week on your internship over the 8-week time period.
Okay, and how does that vary from our semester internship programs?
The semester programs are a few less hours per week on site. You're working more like 6 to 10 hours on site, and then you have the option to take 3 or 4 more additional courses if you want to.
Okay, awesome. And so if I just maybe started looking into this internship idea, what kind of timeline am I working on? Where do I need to start, essentially?
So it's best to start thinking about your internship 9 to 6 months out, 6 to 9 months out. So for example, if you're looking at this summer, you want to start thinking about it now. This is a great time to be speaking with the admissions counselors at CEA, find out what the opportunities are, talk with them about what sector you want to be working in, get a sense of how to start thinking about the skills that you want to develop. We process applications on a rolling basis, so the sooner you get your application in, the sooner we can start working you through the placement process and actually finding you a placement. The application deadline itself is about 3 months before you go, so you really want to be thinking ahead. This also gives you a chance to talk to your career counselor. If you're really struggling between what types of sectors you want to work in, you can talk to your university support and get a little more direction there as well.
And you mentioned connecting with your admissions counselor or my career counselor on campus. Say I'm a business major, how specific do I need to get when I'm working on my resume and my cover letter with CEA? How specific do my goals need to be, for example?
Really having a sense of what sector you want to work in is about as specific as you need to get. This is your chance to be exploring the career field, not narrowing in on one specific career field. What's better is to get clear on, okay, I want to do finance versus veterinary science, and then what skills do I need to develop if I'm going to work in the finance sector, and then take a look at your own skill sets. Where are your strengths? Where are your weaknesses? What is it that you want to develop more of if you're going to work in finance? And focus in on that. We work very closely with you in the placement process to clarify those skills. And once we've gotten clear on that, we can find a placement that aligns with that so that you're actually able to work in a small to medium-sized company who know what those skills are and will develop a project that will help you refine those.
Yeah, and when you mentioned you'll find a placement for us, does that mean that you have a list of organizations you work with and you're just trying to find which one I'm going to work best in?
We're not really a plug-and-play organization, so if you call us, we're not going to be able to say, great, you're working here. It's definitely an individualized placement. So you're going to go through a screening interview with a site specialist once you've submitted your application. That person is working with you to refine your skills. If your resume and cover letter might need a little bit of help, they'll help guide you through that process. They'll get a real sense of what it is you want to get out of this experience. Then you'll work with a placement coordinator overseas on site who is developing relationships in the city that you're going, and they will noodle in even more on what kinds of skills you want to develop, what sector you want to work in, probably talk with you a little bit about the realities of whatever location you're going to. Barcelona, for example, is great for startups. So you'll chat with the placement coordinator there, and then they will find a placement that is individualized and aligned to what you're wanting to get out of the experience. So you're not going to get an answer right off the bat about where you're working, because this is about you and aligning a company or an organization to the skills that you want to develop, and that takes a bit more time.
Awesome. So for those of you just joining us, we have a huge announcement today. If you've been following any of our social media, you've probably seen some hints that we've been dropping in the past few days, but we have officially announced our new internship programs. They're not brand new because we have been doing internships for a little while. We're not new to the game, but we've definitely expanded when our internships are available, what locations we're going to, and we very much streamlined the process for you as an applicant for your interview process and how you're going to get into one of those programs. And we have our resident expert, Cynthia, here talking to us about all of the thought that's been put into these programs, and it sounds really awesome that there aren't just, it's like you said, it's not plug and play. We really are going to go out and try and find the most appropriate internship for you based on our connections on site and all of our locations. So as a new student coming into it, what kind of qualifications do I need to be a good fit for this program?
So the basic checkoff qualifications are that you need to have a 2.75 minimum GPA. When you depart on your internship, you will have been through 2 years of undergraduate study. By the time you apply, you will have need to have had 1 year of studies. Preferred, it's better that you will have taken a couple classes in the sector that you want to intern, so that you have at least a basic understanding of what you're doing. You don't have to speak another language. It's helpful if you can speak a little bit, but our placements are in English and in the native language, so depending on what your skill level is, we'll place you in a site that aligns with your language abilities. And really what's most important is that this is what you want to do, that you're committed to actually doing an internship, and committed to the time and energy that it takes to do an internship. Because again, you're working with a small to medium-sized company. The impact that you have when you're there is much bigger than if you are one of 100 interns at a corporate placement. So whether you show up or not impacts that company. So you've got, your motivation has to be that you really want to make the most out of this experience as an intern.
And you mentioned small to medium-sized companies. Are all of our placements going to be fitting that small to medium-sized company model?
For the most part, there may be a few that are larger, but more than likely we'll be working with small to medium-sized companies, yeah.
And it sounds like that's something that might set CEA apart a little bit, our placement procedures. So what kind of, what are some other ways that our internship model is different than some of the other ones out there?
So it's very important to us that you actually, that this is also an academic experience. So best practices in internship programs are that you actually do have a course matched up with an internship. And so we have an integrated class that you would take over the course of your internship so that you can process the experience while you're overseas. We're working with the small to medium-sized companies. We've got that personalized placement process where it's about you and not about just moving you into one of the many placements that we have. And our programs are affordable. You'll find that our prices are very comparable to anybody else that you see out there. And you have an on-site support staff at every single one of the locations. So you've got somebody that can coach you through whatever issues, cross-cultural or career-based, that you've got. We provide housing. We've got on-site activities that happen in the city. So you've got a social network as well as a professional network while you're there.
Very cool. So for those of you just joining us, we are announcing our not brand new, but very much expanded internship programs that are starting. We do have a lot of internships for next semester, but a lot of those deadlines have closed. If you're really interested, please call us today. But for next summer, they are all open right now, so it's definitely time to start looking into it. And Cynthia's here with us talking a little bit about the process and what that's going to look like for you as an applicant. So you mentioned starting about 6 to 9 months out. I know probably about 3 to 6 of those months are going to be your planning on your own, thinking about what kind of placement you want, working with your admissions counselor to have a strong resume and cover letter. Once I get all of that stuff ready, I submit it to CEA, I'm ready to move forward with the process. What's the next couple of steps look like?
So, as I mentioned before, your application is processed on a rolling basis. Within 2 weeks of you submitting your application, you'll be assigned to a site specialist who will work with you through the entire process until you go abroad. That site specialist will do a kind of screening interview. It's more of a coach you through the process interview within 2 weeks of submitting the application. And then 2 weeks later, you'll meet with your placement coordinator overseas. So within a month, you will have gone through 2 interview processes. The placement coordinator interview is more of a formal job interview. The placement coordinator wants to know what skills you want to develop, your career sector, why, typical job interview questions, what you're going to give, what you hope to get out of the experience, what makes you a strong candidate. So within a month, you will have completed those 2 interviews. The placement coordinator overseas will then approve you into the program. At that point, your placement is guaranteed. We will either find a placement for you, or if for whatever reason it's not working out, you have the option to get your money back or move into a study program. All of our students find out about their placements 2 weeks prior to departure.
If not sooner.
If not sooner, yeah. So as soon as you've submitted your application, that process begins. So that within a month, you will have met with your placement coordinator overseas, and then they begin working with their connections on the ground and securing a placement for you. You may or may not have an interview with your host site overseas. That totally depends on the host site. If they want to interview with you, then you would have another formal Skype interview with your potential new supervisor, and then the host site makes the final call on every single placement.
Okay.
As soon as we get notified from the host site, we let you know.
Okay.
So it could be 2 weeks, it could be 2 months. It simply depends on the availability of sites overseas.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And where can I do one of these internships? What locations do we offer this opportunity?
So we are in London, Dublin, Prague, Florence and Rome in Italy, Paris in France, and then Barcelona and Seville in Spain.
So quite a few options.
Yes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So for those of you just joining us, we're talking about our not brand new, but very much expanded internship programs that are going to be, we have a lot going on in the spring, but all of our internship programs are open for next summer and next fall, so definitely give us a call whenever you get the opportunity. We also periodically offer travel vouchers and grants. We do have one available right now if you're watching this live, so definitely head on over to our website and get all the information you want about that. And we do periodically offer them throughout the season, but do keep in mind we don't always have one offered, and those amounts will vary. So if you see one that you really want, jump on it. If you see that the one we have right now is going to be offered for about 2 weeks, you should definitely apply within that 2-week time period so that you can ensure that you get the one that we're offering right now. And along those lines, you mentioned that the programs are affordable and comparable to other programs. What's included in that price? Are they paid internships, unpaid internships? How does that work? So
internships are unpaid. It is very rare that you would actually find a paid academic internship for credit. Because this is an academic experience, internships are not usually paid overseas. The other reason is visa issues complicate that. So your internships are not paid. The program fees themselves are comparable to other programs that are out there, and with the travel voucher, it makes it super affordable. I would definitely hop on the travel voucher.
Awesome.
The program fee includes your placement, it includes your housing, it includes the the outings within the city for the semester programs. It also includes excursions outside of the city, and then you've got 24/7 on-site support with our local staff who are there if there's an emergency, if you need, like I said before, any sort of support or coaching or advice. They're there for you. There's a whole team of people at every one of our study center locations, and they love hosting you guys. Yeah.
Awesome. So other than that, is there anything else that you want to share with the potential applicant about our internship programs? Any last minute advice for anyone?
I would say if you're really looking towards graduation, this is the time to start planning for an internship. There are so many people graduating. Everybody's trying to get the same jobs. Being able to have an international internship on your resume not only gets you the interview, which is really what you're trying to do. When you submit a resume, your goal is to get the interview. And an international internship makes your resume that much more intriguing to a potential employer. And then once you get that interview, your interviews are way more interesting because you've got stories to tell from your international experiences. So you're going to stand out twice. So I definitely recommend, if you're starting to look towards graduation and how are you going to get your next job, this is the way to go.
Very cool. So just one last time, like we said, we've just announced our expansion, amazing expansion of our internship programs, and along with that we are also offering travel vouchers for next summer and next fall of 2017. If you're not watching this live, head on over to our website, ceastudyabroad.com, and see if we've got anything available for you right now. And other than that, give us a call, and our number is 800-266-4441. I might answer the phone when you call, and we would love to chat with you about our programs and how to get you enrolled in one of our internships for next summer or next fall. So,
we hope to see you abroad.
yeah.